Now for a segment we like to call The Clash. The Donald is out. Donald Trump announced today that he will not run for president in 2012, ending weeks of speculation and self-promotion. This after former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee said he will not run. Tonight in The Clash, who is the Republican frontrunner? Joining me now is Republican strategist and former Romney campaign spokesman Kevin Madden. Also, David Gergen, CNN's senior political analyst. Welcome, gentlemen.
Great to be with you.
All right, Kevin, let me start with you. Donald ducked, as we say, so is there just a huge breath and sigh of relief from the rest of the Republican candidates?
Well, I think from the establishment, I think that is true. I think a lot of people were worried that, a campaign that people wanted to be about issues, a campaign that people wanted to be about substance was, quickly becoming a distraction with issues like the birther issue being front and center. So I think those candidates that really want to run on the economy, they want to run on health care, they want to run on national security, it comes as a great sigh of relief that this is now a campaign that will essentially be a contrast on the issues.
You know, David, let me ask you this question, because Kevin mentioned it. Health care, which the Republican Party had thought was going to be a slam dunk winner. It seems in the past couple weeks, first Paul Ryan's Medicare plan is intensely unpopular. And now in the last couple days, both Gingrich and Romney have said such conflicting things about Obamacare, Romney care, the individual mandate. It's getting very murky there. Is the Republican Party flubbing on an issue that they thought would be their path to victory?
I think it's too early to say that. There's no question that Newt Gingrich stirred up a lot of resentment among House Republicans by attacking the Ryan plan on Medicare and has called it right-wing engineering, social engineering. There was a lot of resentment today in the House. At the same time, Mitt Romney, it looked like health care would be a real albatross, but, that was last week. This week, Romney is the one who I think gets the greatest benefit from both Huckabee and Donald Trump pulling back. He does now emerge, I think, as a clear front runner. And today, of course, he had a fundraiser out in Nevada, a national fundraiser. He raised $10 million in one day in a talkathon or call-a-thon, and that's a substantial amount of money. Compared to 4 years ago when he raised $6 million in a similar effort, this time he raised 10. So you have to say right now that I think he's the big winner of Huckabee and Romney, Huckabee and Trump pulling back.
David, that certainly makes sense. But, Kevin, let me ask you this. I'm still grappling with the speech that former Governor Romney gave last week, in which he defended the individual mandate, which is the centerpiece of Obamacare, as did Newt Gingrich over the past weekend. It seems that both of them have embraced the point and the piece of Obamacare that the Republican Party is most upset about. How does that play through the primaries and then theoretically into a general election?
Well, I think it's certainly a challenge, and I think that there were many folks in the conservative circles that watched that speech, and they weren't satisfied with the answers that they got from Governor Romney. But I think that this is not really a debate or an issue that's going to be decided in just on editorial pages or just amongst the political class. I think ultimately health care is a value issue that candidates have to argue out in some of these early primary states. It's very much about what it is that you want to see done with health care. I think we see a calcified level of opinion right now about Obamacare. Many voters believe that it's not the right approach. And I think it's up for Governor Romney and all the other candidates to describe what they would differently going forward. I think the argument you saw that Governor Romney made was about what he did with a unique health care population of 7 million people in Massachusetts and why he thought it was right. But ultimately, the argument has to be about what it is that you're going to do in the future. What does the future of health care look like in this country? How do we get down costs? How do we increase access? Past this federal standard that Obama set.
David, it seems to me there's going to be an interesting dance going on between the candidates, Republican candidates for president, and Speaker Boehner on the other side. Speaker Boehner has to govern. He has to be part of the process of compromise. And yet the Republican candidates want to distance themselves. How will that dance play out, and how will they be able to work together to craft a coherent message for the Republican Party over the next year or so before there is a clear candidate for the Republicans?
Well, Andrew, thank you.
That's a very good question, Elliot, and it's going to require, I think, some greater discipline the Republicans have shown so far, especially as we work our our way through now in the next few weeks on the debt limit, because, you know, we hit the national debt limit today, and we've got 11 weeks essentially to get a resolution, and Speaker Boehner is essential to that. I would think Speaker Boehner should be able to expect a certain degree of support from the Republican presidential candidates, and how he crafts this is going to really hurt the party if there are divisions over that. But let me just add, Elliot, it's very early on the national health care debate. A lot of opinions haven't formed on some of these issues yet. Issues come and go pretty quickly. You know, already one feels that politically, as important as the seizing and the killing of bin Laden was, that it's not driving the race the way we thought it might 2 weeks ago. And I think we may have two more candidates who come into this race before it's over. If Mitch Daniels gets in from Indiana and Governor Huntsman from Utah gets in, that could really begin to build a serious national conversation around jobs and around government spending that we haven't yet had among the candidates. I actually think it might strengthen the whole Republican sense of some getting some gravitas on their side. They've had a very weak field so far.
You know, David, I could not agree more. In fact, I'm going to go way out on a limb here and predict that the four leading Republican candidates at the end of the day are going to be Romney, Pawlenty, Daniels, and Huntsman. The interesting common factor, they're all governors. And so, Kevin, let me ask you,
right,
are those four, all governors, going to be able to craft, as David said, he's exactly right, as always, economics is going to drive this, not the bin Laden bump. Will there be a coherent Republican message about jobs and how to bring back this economy?
Well, sure. I think right now what you're seeing is that everybody in the field and many of the political observers watching the race are all focused on where the differences are. And ultimately, I think what's going to drive the fundamentals of the Republican race, where we pick a nominee, is going to be what we agree on. And I think we all agree that we need to stop taxing, we need to stop federal spending, we need to get the deficit down. And I think the candidate that comes out with the most credible plan on those three issues and how it ladders up to a larger economic argument about creating jobs and creating more prosperity, that's where the Republican electorate's going to produce the best nominee.
Yeah, but Kevin and David, that's what's going to make it so interesting, because if John Boehner needs to compromise on those very principles with the White House, that Republican message may get somewhat muddled, and so the purity of the Republican candidate may be lost. Anyway, guys, this conversation will be continuing for weeks and months ahead, obviously. Kevin Madden, David Gergen, thanks so much for joining us.
Great to be with you.